Hey guys, Dravoth here. Just want to give you a heads up. This episode was recorded a week ago. It took me longer to edit it than it usually does, so we got it up after the stream. There's been a lot of reveals since we made these comments that have perhaps changed some of our opinions on the decks. Just giving you a heads up that you may hear us make some stupid takes here. You know, we made them with the information we had available at the time. With that said, hope you enjoy the episode. Peace.
So welcome back, guys, to episode 4 of the Kite podcast. It's actually been like about 2 months since we started doing this. And I'm glad.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's like 2 months since every 2 weeks we try to do one.
Shit, we started doing it in February. Yeah, wow.
And now we are like week 9 of Overdress. Or week 10, I guess. I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah, do you know what, actually? It started even further back than that. Because we tried to do it 3 times, I think, before we...
Yeah.
No, it was 2 times. 2 times before we finished it. Before we were happy with an episode.
There's episode 0 and the last episode. There's 2 of them.
And the last episode was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're messing around with the audio. Hopefully we can get it more consistent in the future.
Well, this should go back to our normal consistency, I think.
It's just us. It's just me, Cipher, and Dravoth.
Oh yeah, I'm Dravoth, he's Cipher. That's our introduction. So we went off on a bit of a tangent there, just about how successful we are.
Yeah.
Our 2...
I guess that's subjective, but
4 episode podcasts. I imagine most people give up within the first 10 episodes. If we can hit 10 episodes, I'm pretty happy with that. Do you know what I mean? That's like, okay, we're actually doing it now. It is quite hard to organise, isn't it? To sit down at the same time every week, every couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
We're both fairly busy at the moment as well, so it's not the easiest. But hey, we're here again. Top of the show banter.
You're back.
What have you eaten this week? No, not cards yet. We've got to talk about what cakes have you had lately.
Oh, actually nothing too special this few weeks, I guess. Maybe.
Oh, for real?
I guess.
Our cake listeners have just turned off. I guess half the audience gone straight away.
Pretty much. I guess I started to cook more again. So.
Have you seen what Jaime cooked?
Oh yeah, the steak sirloin steak.
Oh, that looked so fucking good, dude.
I wish I could afford steak every now and then.
Yeah, shout out to Commander Jaime. Commander Jaime cooked some sirloin steak that looked fucking delicious. Fair play to him. That looked so good. And I'm not a big steak guy generally, but that looks delicious. Yeah. Maybe we'll put up screenshots of that with his permission on the site. On
the site, yeah. So where we left off, we left off with where were we actually?
You started that with such confidence. We started off at shit. Let me open up my tabs. So the last thing we saw was Baron Magnus and Hexor.
Oh yeah, very right. We had Zeo on for that last episode.
I think. And we did talk about Zorga as well.
Yeah, Zorga.
I think since then we've kind of not necessarily changed our opinions, but we're much less sure those are going to be very good decks set 1.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. Having done we've done quite a lot of testing.
Yeah, we've set 1 cards
over the past
2-3 weeks.
Past 2-3 weeks, yeah.
I've only started testing like after Elden was released. I started testing like quite intensively.
Based on our like where we are now, and keep in mind this could change.
Yeah, it could change.
These start deck based decks do feel a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Than the ones from the set, which is for obvious reasons. The start deck ride chain, the grade 3, I think is the equivalent of a triple rare. And obviously those decks also have a triple rare rear guard, whereas the other ones do not. So they just, by sheer who has the highest rarity stuff, they just feel better right now.
Yeah, you're still finding your footing, still set 1. Maybe we'll see more cards. We'll talk more about them as we...
I mean, the 2 decks that have their triple rare feel way
way better than everything else.
Like Dark States and Kita.
Kita, yeah.
Well, specifically Bruce
and Bastion.
And Bastion, yeah, feel very, very good. Well, I would just say Hexor Orb in particular feels a little bit incomplete.
Everything else is a bit lacking. Maybe the last few cards will really change it. I'm not too sure. I'm not too confident, honestly, but who knows?
I don't think there's going to be, unless they get all the remaining slots, they're not going to put a common into Hexor Orb and then the deck suddenly slots together. I think that's really unlikely. Because Painkiller, I don't know what deck that's meant for. It's a very good generic card.
Yeah, I think...
But the other double rare could be specifically for Bastion, you know.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a grade 3 as you saw from the anime. There's still a grade 3 I've yet to see. And,
Yeah.
And it does fit into the slot, the Angel Fighter looking thing.
Yeah. I guess we could talk a little bit about the anime. We've seen episode 1 now.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'm not historically a huge card fight anime watching guy, mainly because I was in my 20s when it started. It's not really aimed towards adult men so much.
I was still in like secondary school or like basically pre-high school, so it's like, I guess it was something to appeal to my demographic, so I found myself liking the anime.
I mean, I don't think it's terrible. I certainly enjoyed watching it for a time because I found it really funny. It is how I discovered the card game. I was like watching old episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! While I was not sober, let's put it that way, and just like hanging out with a mate, and we randomly on YouTube we got recommended Card Fight Vanguard, and we watched it, and we were in hysterics. Like, it was the funniest thing we'd ever seen. What I love about the anime of Vanguard is it's so earnest. It's very sincere. It plays it straight. They're like, okay, now close your eyes and imagine the planet Grey. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, the cards kind of come to life on the little hologram thing. And in Vanguard, they were just imagining the cards, and that was so funny to me.
The funny thing I find is like whenever they eat, there's even like psycholia going on. The guy just images they attack too hard, he just falls back. I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, what's this?
They're going, It's like, you imagine that. Why did you imagine yourself getting hurt, idiot?
At least in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's like shadow games. So whenever Yugi goes like, we literally know. Like, he's
at least there's a thing going on. Yeah, in card fight, they're just like, they're imagining too hard.
Okay, at least
I always found
came
that
in,
really funny. Yeah, I think that's really funny, and I've always enjoyed that. I love things that are really sincere and earnest in, you know what I mean? And like, they take themselves a bit too seriously. And I always found that very funny about Vanguard. And also the fact that it was in very, very basic English the first season. Because I think it wasn't necessarily pitched towards an English-speaking audience so much as an international audience. So they had to keep the English language stuff as basic as possible. So it was very funny to me. It still is. I can still watch the card fight anime and have a good laugh at it.
Original 2011 episode 1.
Sorry to anyone who really loves it and thinks it's good. I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's silly. I think even people who like it kind of enjoy that silly campiness, But this is very different.
Overdress, yeah.
There is still some of that, but it's obviously aimed towards a more serious audience. Because the first episode did not have very much card games in it. Like, they played a card game, but they weren't like going, and then I do this in Counterblast 2, and you know what I mean? They didn't try and explain the rules.
It wasn't a play-by-play, yeah.
Well, I think the goal was to maybe appeal to people who don't already play Vanguard.
That's true.
Sorry if you can hear a garbage truck outside my house. By the way, that's what I think of the card fight anime. A garbage truck showing up now.
What?
No, I'm only joking.
I'll say the anime's pretty good, honestly.
It was really good. I mean, if you looked at it at a glance, you would think. I mean, because in terms of quality, I know Clamp did the character designs, but it was still kind of up in the air how high quality the actual animation would be. It is pretty good compared to perhaps what people thought it would be.
Especially like Vanguard G, I didn't really enjoy the last part of G. So coming in back to finally brand new characters, which I can like get more invested in.
Yeah, definitely.
And new units and all that, I'm really hyped for it.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it. I unironically enjoyed watching it. If you glance at it, it looks like an episode of Code Geass. At a quick glance. In one character design, literally lifted directly from Code Geass. The blonde guy.
Yeah, the one with Kita.
Kita Century guy. He's literally just lifted directly out of Code Geass. We won't talk about the anime for too much, but it was pretty good. If you haven't checked it out, it's worth a watch.
The premiere is going to be this weekend, or as of the time we are recording it. We only saw the sneak preview. Maybe you want to just get friends to the game. Who knows? You can just let them watch episode 1.
Yeah, I think if you have a friend who's into anime, they could watch that episode and go, that's cool.
The animation during the fight scene though, that was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I wonder if episode 2 is going to be, I would imagine is going to be the normal, like, and here's how you play Vanguard sort of episode, you know what I mean? Where somebody is, I would guess somebody is being harsh to Yu and is like going, you suck, I'm going to kick your ass at fucking Vanguard. And Yu goes, oh no, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And then somebody goes, Yu, don't worry bro, I'll help you out. And then they play the card game. And then Yu wins. And everyone goes, oh my god, Yu beat this guy who's undefeated at fucking Vanguard. And Yu's like, told you. That's what I assume episode 2 is going to be.
Okay.
Because that's what episode 2 has been of every season.
Of every season of Vanguard, yeah.
I think it's fair to say. Or every card game anime, that's what episode 1 or 2 is, isn't it? Is the underdog kid kicks the ass of the amazing
pro
player who's
the
guy who's being kind of harsh with him.
Yeah, and the guy usually plays a dragon. at least in traditional card games.
Yeah, the Seto Kai sort of guy. Yeah. But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. I think we can agree on that. Even if you're not into the show that much.
We won't spoil any more about it yet?
I'm not going to spoil anything. No. Yeah. I don't think we spoiled anything then. There's not a lot to spoil in episode 1, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing happens that is going to blow your mind.
It's an all-around good thing.
Yeah, it's good. I think anyone who's into the card game probably has a passing awareness of the anime, if nothing else. Okay, so let's talk about cards. So we've had quite a lot released since we last recorded. We've had two new ride lines, a triple rare. I mean, we've had I think 3 relevant cards to talk about for Dark States that are probably going to be staples.
About the same for Kita too.
I think there's only 1 really worth talking about for Kita, and
I'll say 2.
Dragon Emperor. What do you think's worth talking about?
The new grade 3, the shield value. People.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that, to be honest. Yeah, I guess that is relevant. So at least for now, it appears relevant.
And of course, we've
also got all of the over triggers now as well.
Yeah, all the over triggers for all 5.
Yeah, which are pretty cool.
We'll get into how impactful they will be, or how good their turns will be with this over trigger.
Well, I think we could say they're all very good.
They're all very good. Yeah.
There's not one of them where you go, I'm not going to run this because I'll have a crit.
You're still running one.
Your over trigger. I think the neutral over trigger is still relevant.
For some builds,
at least
especially
at the moment. I can see multi-attacking focus builds perhaps still running that.
Yeah, because at 5 damage you check it's guaranteed win if opponent doesn't have 2 more perfect guards.
Well, I mean, when we were testing, I think I took an over trigger as damage both games.
Yeah,
or two out of 10 games or whatever we played even. I don't think you checked one, did you?
I never really checked one though. Only that one game Vexer, I just never checked it.
Yeah. So they're not and I think one of the games I checked it, I still lost as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's why I lost, because I didn't. It prevented me from getting a counterpass.
Maybe. Okay, so with that, should we start with the simpler ones?
So let's start with Painkiller Angel for Kita Sanctuary.
I think I'll just carry this.
So this is a double rare.
So Painkiller as a skill, it's a grade 1 AK. At the end of the battle, it boosted, so +1, retire itself, and draw a card. Pretty generic stuff, low commitment card.
Yeah, it's your general self-recycle.
Initially, I wasn't really too open about it, but the more I tested Bastion, I know why this card might be a staple for Kita in general.
I told you this was a good card.
Yeah.
You didn't have it in your decks, and I was like, I think it opens up quite a lot. Because it just means you're constantly refreshing your hand, which if you don't draw... Spoilers, if you don't draw Alden, I think you're in trouble.
Any form of Comblast 2, draw 2 cards. You don't draw that, you're going to be behind. Kita doesn't have natural shield value.
Yeah. So I think it's just a really core card. And I think it's just the effect is fairly generic. You
can play in Hexer, no problem.
If you draw this, you can get a free 8k boost, and then for a Soul Blast you get another card, and this goes to the bin. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's interesting compared to what other cards have done in the past with these sort of skills. Generally speaking, they've always had some kind of power as well. So it's interesting that this is or like a conditional power, whereas this is Soul Blast 1 every time.
Generically, yeah. I know Jaime of or Soul Blast or Genesis, Premium Genesis.
It's battle phase Soul Blast, so this could very well go into Premium Genesis. I can see this going into Premium Genesis. It's actually not terrible for that.
Yeah.
I think they have better options right now, but potentially, spoiler alert, I think that Gleipnir should be hit. If it is, you can put this in. Although I think you'll probably go for Wise Man again, but you
probably Wise Man. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the other card I'll go through is a grade 3 Angel Feather card with name Koka Build. So it's basically the answer to what people talk about shield value within Kita. So this card is an interesting skill. When it's based on Guardian Circle, your Vanguard's Apex Ruler Bastion. For every 2 grade 3s on your anywhere basically, on your Guardian Circle, your Vanguard or Vanguard, it gets 5k shield. So when you guard with it and only your Vanguard is 5k shield, if you have 3 other grade 3s, is a tanky shield, and it can potentially go higher than that depending on your board state, I guess. So yeah, this is better than being a Blitz order.
It is just a better Blitz order. Yeah.
And it's still a grade 3 unit, so you can still call it out.
Yeah. So you can use it for your reveal grade 3 skills.
And you call it off Elden
for your
Bastion.
Elden, exactly. Yeah. And it can boost with the dragon.
Yeah, Dark Strain. We kind of talked last week, yeah. So I think that's where we left off with Bastion.
I think that's all there is to talk about.
Those two cards are the one you should really look out for. I'm personally already playing them in my current builds. Both are very solid cards.
I think Painkiller Angel enables Kokabiel to be a viable option.
And it also, one thing about Painkiller is because Kita, you're not playing in a proper early game because your deck's mostly grade 3s, right? So cards that cycle to help you guarantee your 3 cards, your 3 grade 3 to hand for Brooks, or anything to boost anything you call. So sometimes, face facts, you will call a trigger off top deck sometimes.
Yeah.
At least with this card, you can try to push some numbers.
Well, the other thing about this is it kind of reduces perhaps the
risk of.
I was going to say the importance of Dark Strain Dragon.
Yeah.
After testing, I really don't like Dark Strain Dragon.
Yeah, same here. I'd rather have this as a backup plan, but I'm not saying Dark Strain is useless because I still feel it can be very clutch with your hands, all grade 3s.
Well, I mean, it's 30k columns, isn't it, with Bastion? So it's not awful. But I'm not a big fan of it. I would look to not run that if I could.
Yeah, same here.
I think you have to now, but like I said, you really have 1 to 2 uses out of it.
The good thing about both these cards, and even including Dark Strain, Painkiller and Dark Strain are both not on place, so you can use them when the situation calls for it. If you see it, you got to keep that in mind. It's having more options and not just you don't have to streamline into immediately using it.
Yeah. So you can also have a look at the game state at the end of your battle phase or in the middle of your battle phase and make the decision with Painkiller then and there as well.
Yep.
So, assuming you get a really dud drive check and you don't have any shield value, you can decide, you know what, I will sacrifice the Painkiller to try and get some shield value in hand. So it's pretty good.
You still can look your hand if any rough looks or Persona Right, for instance. Can you get back the soul if you need it? This sort of small things will add up.
Yeah, it's a good card. I think it's a card that a lot of people.
It opens up a lot of plays.
I think it looks worse than it is because people are still looking at it from a V perspective. In V, this would not be amazing.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't be a double rare, but in this format, it's pretty good. We can move on to Dragon Empire.
Yeah, okay.
I think the only thing really worth talking about right now is Verena Arcus.
Yeah.
So we've got another Verena Arcus, which is double rare. It has the same overdress requirement as the normal Verena, so you overdress it on a Trickstar. When this unit is placed on rear guard circle, if it is in the overdress state, counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, and it gets 5k to the end of turn.
Yeah, draw 2.
It's draw 2, but also it opens up a lot of different lines of play with Verena and Trickstar and stuff now. For example, one of the scariest things for me previously was getting imprisoned. If your overdress unit gets imprisoned, you have no way of getting those back out and into overdress state again. Well, now you have another 4 Verenas in deck, so the chances of you having one in hand to then re-overdress when you call that Trickstar back out is
really higher,
much higher,
especially on turn 2, because Nirvana only guarantees it on turn 3. Yeah.
So it does. Yeah, again, it gives you an earlier one. Yeah, you're right. So I think it's actually a really good card, and it's also it kind of makes you think twice about giving that early counterblast
to Dragon Empire.
To Dragon Empire, because that's a +2 for 1 counterblast is insane in this format right now. You compare that to Ulden, which is counterblast 2, soul blast 1, and call a grade 3 to +2, and this is a bargain.
Yeah.
I mean, we were playing games with it yesterday, and even though Dragon Empire doesn't have that triple rare yet, it feels pretty.
Yeah, it only needs that play. One more finishing blow to make Overdress a good deck. It's already pretty good.
The only slight, I wouldn't say problem, obviously this doesn't work with your stuff that searches Verena.
Verena specifically, yeah.
Because those are specifically Verena, and this is Verena Arcus.
Like Ryu and Sunburst Evolution, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this isn't able to do that. And I think that's worth mentioning because a lot of people perhaps are wondering if that's the case. It is not. Let's go on to Dark States. There have been some more reveals for Dragon Empire. I just don't think they're really worth talking about at this stage.
We'll get to the new right lines a little later. So in Dark States, we have
Proto Bulb Dragon.
It's a great one. Proto Bulb Dragon is on regular circle, attack or boost. If we're in final rush, so it's already locked to Bruce in a sense. Counterblast 1, you choose any regard on your field. Another regard, I mean. Then put it to soul. Then you choose any card from your soul, put it to your hand. So immediately it's like, basically on turn 4 onwards, you can get any card you want from your soul.
It is only in battle phase.
Only battle phase, yeah.
So that's important to note. So you're not getting a card back that you can use this turn, which I think is important. But if you have kind of a dud load of soul charges, you don't have the board you want going into the next turn,
yeah,
there you go. But also, if you think they're going to survive this
you
turn,
can take a Perfect Guard, or over trigger TK Shield, or maybe even a Persona Right for next turn. You can do all this kind of plays.
It also isn't once per turn either. So potentially you could, have this attack twice.
Yeah, true.
With Bruce, and you could use it twice. You're probably not going to want to do that, but
it's an option.
It's an option. So it's pretty useful. It's basically a -1 to field to +1 to hand, effectively. But it also keeps your soul neutral when you're doing it as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty relevant card to talk about. It's pretty good for a rare.
Then next up is the Diablo's Voice Eden, which is the triple R for Bruce.
The reason I put this before
the last card,
before the double rare is besides it being a grade 2 and that's a grade 3. I think the double rare is
more
better.
it's more impactful. Yeah, I do.
I mean, I understand why this is a triple rare because
it's pretty good. Yeah,
it has some powerful effects, but yeah.
So anyway, on regular circle, if we're in final rush, it gets 5k. So it's the same as the right deck grade 2. It is unit stand during your turn by your card effects. So obviously, with Bruce resigning your front row, he gets an additional crit until end of turn.
So that's only ever going to be for its second attack.
So it's basically you attack with this, the other side, Bruce attacks, you restand this, he has 2 crit on his own. So your opponent has to block it when they guard Bruce. So technically, your opponent can only say no guard to 1 regard unless you check crit there too. Kind of good. The other effect, honestly, I feel it's a bit more useful, whereas when this unit attack hits anything, by the way, come last 1, you can retire any of your opponent's regard. I think this is where the cards really shines.
I think that's what pushes it into the territory of being a triple rare. Almost every clan now has some sort of removal as well, spot removal. I mean, this is a very good removal. Obviously, it's when it hits. It's not when it attacks. But chances are your opponent is going to want to take one of its attacks.
The first one.
So, I mean, so they have to really think about it.
You can also use it to hit a rear guard. Let's say early game. You come last 1, you kill another rear guard. It's like, wow. you can damage deny. You can damage die and just counter rush. Which is relevant against Kill the Sanctuary, or you'll be annoyed if you kill your grade 3 back row and stuff.
You're not spending that counterblast elsewhere, really, in Bruce.
Literally, the only card that counterblast is Colossus, which you might drop once you choose the next card.
Yeah, even though I said last week you were never going to drop that, I was wrong. Absolutely, looking at it now. I still think it's a good card.
You can see
it's like there's other good stuff now. Like, I didn't realise how crazy this next card was going to be.
It's similar to my stand with the order card for Commonwealth and Elden. Elden just does the drop better, but you can still play it as a backup. So anyway, I'll let you introduce the grade 3.
So this is Upward Acrobat Marjorie. As the name suggests, it's a very pale moon looking card. So it's once per turn when this unit attacks. If you are in final rush, put one of your other rear guards into your soul, draw a card, soul charge 1, and this unit gets power 10k until the end of turn, which is insane. It's insanely good.
Yeah.
So for a -1 on field, draw a card and soul charge 1, and that minus goes to soul as well. So it's basically soul charge 2.
He also doesn't cost any counterblast.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm amazed that this is the double rare and not the triple rare, honestly. It's so good. And I think people don't necessarily realise how good it is, because people are in this mentality, and I was talking to Zay about this, that you need to be at 5 soul as soon as possible before turn 4. And you don't. You can soul charge to 5 on turn 4 when you're in final rush.
Because of Marjorie, yeah.
Because this is always going to attack before Bruce, if you want to use final rush. So, if you have one of these, you're always going to be able to get to soul 5. But also it soul charges 2.
The cut and the soul charge.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea that Bruce can run out of soul by his third kind of turn is kind of gone now.
Especially since we still have the Acrobat Presenter, the great one from the start deck. So Brother Soul probably be cut from the deck. There's enough soul charging already.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this does the same thing but better. Which is interesting, because that's a theme we've seen, is a card be introduced that kind of does the same thing as an order card in the start deck. Like we saw it with
Elden, yeah.
Elden as well, yeah. So I wonder if we'll see any more of that. But yeah, this is just a really good card. I'm so impressed that this exists early.
Like True is locked behind turn 4, but so is Colossus for its full skill, so you're pretty much using it at the same time.
It's locked behind turn 4, but what are you doing before turn 4 with Bruce?
You're playing very slowly, yeah.
No, you're not doing anything anyway.
Which is why Eden is quite valuable, yeah.
Yeah, I really like this card. I mean, Dark States, Bruce in particular, is looking very, very powerful.
The fact that Elden and Eden, both of them have 2 skills, which are both really useful, on one card, that's what pushes them to Jabbar. I think that's the way they're going about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, they have the higher rarity stuff revealed, so that's why they're better, but they are Keita and Dark States, or Bastion and Bruce specifically.
They're looking very strong.
Are looking very powerful, yeah, definitely. So I guess now we can go on to talk about the new ride lines, unless you've got anything else to say.
Nothing much, really, okay.
So we'll start with the less interesting of the two. I think we can agree that's what this is. You know which one I'm talking about based on that.
yeah. In terms of play or effects? Okay, so anyway.
Both.
So...
They look alright. I like the grade 1, he looks cool. The grade 2 looks okay. The grade 3, I don't know, that art is a mess, in my opinion. Yeah, so we have, basically it's a Desert Gunner.
Yeah, it's the secondary deck for Dragon Empire.
Yeah, so they're definitely Narukami,
yeah.
Lots of lightning going on. They have some interesting names for at least 2 of them do. So the grade 1 is, and this is your ride line card, remember. So this is Gunning of Duststorm Nigel. I don't know how it sounds to people who aren't English. It makes him sound like a 60-year-old man to an English speaker. Which is auto when rode upon by the grade 2, soul charge 1. That's fine. And then rearguard circle. When your opponent's rearguard is retired during your main phase, specifically main phase, so no Verena shenanigans.
Delphi's, like how Emerald was in V.
Cost, counterblast 1 and retire this unit, and then choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. That's quite a hefty cost.
You're basically playing counterblast 1 to like trade a card for an opponent's card.
Yeah, it's not that impressive on its own. And then Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm Randor.
How are you reading these names? It's so long.
Yeah, I know. When rode upon by the grade 3, draw a card, which is good. Choose one card from your drop and put it into your soul. Again, that's very good, actually.
More full charge.
Yeah, I didn't realize how good that is, actually. That's actually pretty good. And then Vanguard Circle or Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rearguards, counterblast 1 to soul charge 1, and it gets 5k to end a battle, which is pretty underwhelming. It's like a bad Colossus.
Dead against Colossus, so.
But it's on attack, I suppose.
So I think we obviously see there's a team of like soul charging a lot.
Yeah, so the soul charging, but also retiring seems to be the niche there. And then we have the main event, which is Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene. Again, he sounds like a massive nerd. There's not a cool name, Eugene. You know what I mean? Like I call him something cool. Like
I guess Bruce. Bruce was what's again?
Chad. Yeah. Bruce again is quite very, very odd naming conventions in these. So he's quite interesting. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Rest 2 rear guards. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards. Retire it, and this unit gets 10k to the end of the turn. That's pretty good, especially as you're going to want to retire units off the back of that to retire your opponent's units based on looking at the grade 1. And then once per turn, if your opponent's rear guard was retired this turn, Soul Blast 5. Look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as the number of your opponent's open rearguard circles. Choose any number of unit cards from among them and call them to rearguard circle. Put the rest into your soul.
So already, you can kind of see where the deck's going.
A lot of people think this is amazing.
I'll say the skill has real potential because it's card advantage. Like on crack if it's Soul Blast 5. But then again, it's Soul Blast 5.
You don't have the Soul Blasts to do that consistently.
At least for the moment.
At the moment.
You're guaranteed 1, but the second one is kind of iffy.
But you don't have any rear guards that hit for any big numbers when they're called from deck or anything. But also the costs of retiring to clear that board are very high.
Maybe the cards we've seen so far,
Yeah. Like, Eugene's rest 2 rear guards, fine, that's cheap, and you can chain off the back of that. But I just don't see it right now. I think this would need, like...
something really crazy to push it to...
It's going to need a couple of double rares, it's going to need a couple of triple rares to push this into playable territory, in my opinion. I think this is really underwhelming.
I think those who like very traditional board retire skills, they might enjoy this deck.
Well, here's the thing, it can be denied.
Yeah, it can be denied.
If this is going up against Bruce isn't going to play any rear guards for it to retire. This doesn't do anything. But even in general, this doesn't do much. I always bring this up. I always talk about reactive decks. I think reactive decks are inherently worse than proactive decks. And this, again, is reactive. You have to react to what your opponent's done a turn later. And I just, considering how high the costs are to retire stuff, given the inherent disadvantage of retiring something that's already hitting you as a form of value, I don't love it. I'm a Dragon Empire player. I'm a Dragon Empire fan. That is my department within Axis Vanguard. Yeah, I'm the department head for Dragon Empire. But honestly, I don't see it. And there are not enough... I could see the potential of it long term. But there are not enough slots free to go to this, to give it the soul charge it needs, to give it the power it needs to be relevant set 1.
Currently, like, there has to be a way to punish your opponent for not calling regard. If we can get that, then yeah, the decks will have some real win condition, I guess. Because without Persona, right, your deck's not hitting any good numbers, which is the main problem.
Yeah. I just think for a 3 attack deck to be hitting for these low numbers, its only mechanic is retiring. I don't know. It's not doing.
We did see like 2 support cards. I think I'll mention them briefly. So one of them is a grade 2 called On Place Conblast 2 retire 1 rear guard. It's soul charge 1. It doesn't even get power, which is like, what? Conblast 2?
Yeah, I like, I didn't even think that was worth talking about. I thought that was a joke card.
The other one's pretty good though. Which is ironically the common, and that was rare. So the card skill is when your opponent's retired remain phase, so you retire Eugene or some shit. Then you just retire yourself, lose the top of your deck, then you can call it. Or you can call the card. If you don't, you put it to soul. So it's kind of a help with the soul problem, I guess. Pretty okay, but like even in those 2 cards, like they don't really help the deck, in my opinion.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, the one that I keep thinking is a fucking Key to Sanctuary card because it looks like a key. Yeah, I do know the one you mean. Yeah,
it does help the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay actually. Sorry, I genuinely hadn't paid attention to that card being a Dragon Empire card. I knew it was, but it doesn't look like a Dragon Empire card.
I argue it does. It looks like the Shirayuki stuff.
No, it doesn't. It looks like a Oracle thing.
Yes, the ice thing and the ropes.
No, it doesn't. Well, it does, but it looks like it could be in Genesis or Oracle Think Tank. Like at first glance to me, it's okay. The Counterblast 2 Soul Charge 1 sucks.
If it was Counterblast 1, it'd be really good, but I guess it'll be too good because Counterblast 1 to retire is very cheap.
Counterblast 2 in a deck where everything costs a count, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So what, you clear your opponent's board, you call a load of vanilla units to the board, amazing.
They try to win.
Yeah, I just don't get what the deck does. I really don't. Like, yeah, okay, that's decent value, but it's no pushing power or anything.
In terms of like raw numbers or like card advantage, yeah, it sounds good, but we're not sure how will it translate to actual gameplay.
Badly. That's how it translates.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. I just... There's a lot of people who are talking about this deck like it's really good, and I don't see it.
I want to be optimistic about it, but let's just see.
I think long term, once this has a couple of triple rares and a couple of double rares dedicated to it, yeah, this could be something.
But for the moment, not impressive.
Looking at it out of the gate, yeah. There's something I want to talk about later related to that, but I'll come back to that after we've talked about Orfist.
This is the beginning of Orfist, right? So I guess I'll introduce them.
Yeah, you can talk about this. Yeah, because you're the Link Joker fanboy, so.
This is the whole Link Joker archetype in Vanguard. So it's obviously based off like Link Joker stuff. Outside the Great One, which is Cardinal Knight wrote this. So in place on Vanguard Circle, search your deck for 1 world card. So this is a new type of order card we'll get into. Then reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So it's pretty much the same as your Great One from Vanguard, except that's just for prison.
Yeah, very similar.
That's just for prison, this is just for world. Then on Vanguard Circle, during the battle, you attack or boosted. If your world is Dark Knight or Abyssal Dark Knight, he gets 2k. So yeah, I think, should we explain the order cards first to get it out of order?
These are now the good guy Star Vaders. Like, doesn't Messiah make the Star Vaders?
We have no idea.
Is that in
We have no idea.
I'm sure they said that. I'm sure they said that somewhere.
From the end of J era, Star Vaders never turned good.
No, but I think they did in like in the new setting. I'm sure I've read that somewhere.
I mean, Link Joker's teamed up with the Messiah Bellster thing, so I'm not sure. Yeah, that's exactly what they mean. If this is a good guy, it'll be very funny.
Well, cardinal implies that it's some sort of religious order. Because cardinal is a Christian rank in a Christian church.
In the church, yeah.
So I wonder if these are like the Church of Messiah, they're like bishops.
Okay,
That's what I mean. Like, I think that's the case. I think this is sci-fi Christianity.
Sci-fi. Okay,
I think so. I think that's what they're going for.
maybe.
So
Because
that's what it comes across.
we will get lost as the sets release.
And no offense to any Christians listening.
Have your happy holidays. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Happy Easter, everyone.
So with the world order in mind, let's go through the Great 2, which is Cardinal Noid Cubist.
No, let's do the orders first.
Order first, right? Okay. So what a world order is a type of set order card. So like prisons, you set them in the order zone.
Yeah, this is just a different type of set order, really. Isn't it?
So basically, both of the order cards have a similar skill, which counts the number of world cards in your order zone, and only if a world card. So you can't make a funny hybrid of prison and world. You have to choose one or the other.
I mean, well, you mean you can? It will just be shit.
Yeah.
You could do it if you really want to.
So your world is only orders. Your orders are only world cards. So depending on the number, if you've got one card, your world becomes Dark Knight. If you have two or more cards, your world becomes Abyssal Dark Knight. So a good way to think about it is like when you stack the world cards, it's like changing it's like a field spell on your side of things.
Kind of. Although once they're on the field, they don't actually have any effect. Like being in Dark Knight and Abyssal Dark Knight doesn't inherently do anything on its own.
It just helps you to unlock more effects.
Yeah, it's like skills that say activate if you have 4 cards in your bind zone or whatever. It is literally just you have to play the cards, basically.
And all the cards are still once per turn. Just keep that in mind so you can't just spam 2-1 in one turn and call it a day. So, yeah.
I mean, you're going to get 1 into your hand, guaranteed, with the grade 1, yeah.
So we have 2 world order cards. So the grade 2 is Howling Moonlight, which is play with Soul Blast 1. When you place an order zone, it draws 1. Then it has the same con like we said earlier.
Yeah, so all of these world cards will have the same order zone cont effect, I believe.
Yeah, most likely. Then the other one is the Darkness Nobody Knows, or something like that, right?
Yeah, hang on. It's in the darkness, nobody knows.
In the darkness, nobody knows, yeah. So basically the same skill, but it's a grade 3 set order. And it has, when you play it, you Soul Blast 1 to retire any opponent's front row regards.
Which is very good value looking at fucking, looking at Eugene. Eugene's got massive envy over this card.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Soul Blast 1 to retire a card, or Soul Blast 1 to draw a card, basically.
Then once you have 2, you unlock all your skills, basically, because you have 2 worlds.
So that's basically what the worlds do, yeah. Dark Knight unlocks some skills, Abyssal Dark Knight unlocks some more, sorry. You're always going to have 1 Dark Knight thanks to
the grade 1.
The grade 1, and then you just have to hard draw into the other, which isn't the end of the world, considering you can have 8.
Yes.
I don't think you'll want to run 8 long term, but you could. But yeah, the grade 2 I think is really good. Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. It's fucking great.
The grade 2 order, yeah. The grade 3 is so pretty. It's very cheap removal, so that's also really good.
And yeah, they're both really good. I mean, it's limited to front row, but that's not a big deal.
I think move on to the grade 2, the unit. So this is, how do you pronounce this? Hubisia?
Do you want me to do it?
Cardinal.
I'm taking a.
Cardinal Noid.
I think it's Cardinal Noid. Cubisia.
Sure. I haven't searched the names, so
the Japanese name is Cardinal Noid Cubisia. Is it in Japanese? What? That's how you speak Japanese. Okay. That's how they say stuff. That's not racist. That's how Japanese people write their words.
Japanese auto-translate. Okay.
No, that's that. I'm just reading it phonetically. That's what it says phonetically. But it translates to Cardinal Noid. We think Cubisia.
Yes. So auto Vanguard Circle, when you place a world in your order zone, so when you play the grade 2 order basically, choose any of your units, it gets 5k at the end of turn. Pretty okay effect. Helps you rush without committing, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not the best grade 2 grade 2 ride line skill, but it's okay.
Vanguard Circle, during your turn, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, so you must have 2 world orders set, it gets 5k, just specifically during your turn. So it's a 15k attacker. I guess it's free, so I can't complain about it.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you're always going to be aiming to be in Abyssal Dark Knight anyway, so it's not like you have to do anything you wouldn't normally do. And it's continuous effect as well, so you don't have to play it. Like, I was worried it would be when you play a world card, this goes up 5k.
Yes.
It's not that, it's just a continuous...
So once you play 2, you technically do not need to play anymore.
Yeah.
I think that brings us to the Great Tree, which is Cardinal Deus, which is like God or something, right? Orfist.
Oh, everyone keeps calling it Cardinal Deus. It's not, it's Deus.
Deus, oh yeah, Deus.
Cardinal Deus. Or in Japanese, I'm going to start doing this for every card. Cardinal Deus Orfist. In Japanese.
So Vanguard.
I'm really enjoying it.
Your world's Dark Knight or Abyssal Dark Knight, it gets 5k, so it's 18k on its own. Then the main thing that makes this card, I'll argue one of the better decks, honestly. Counterblast 2, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, you call out the 3 Shadow Army tokens to Regal Circle.
Which are
15k great ones,
tokens.
Yeah. They can boost.
That have boost, yeah. Which is good. That's a good
People
skill.
may be underwhelmed by this skill, but you get 3 like quality units for Counterblast 2.
I don't think so. I think, if anything, I think people are overhyping this.
Really?
skill.
I've seen both sides of it.
I mean, I think it's very good, but I think people are like, oh my god, this card is the best thing in the world just because it has that link to... I don't know. People look at the art and they think Chaos Breaker, Lock, this is broken.
You might be.
I guess. That seems to be how people
I see it as a very high value skill. Like, sure, this Link Joker archetype doesn't like lock and play that top control game, but you still get the element of like grinding your opponent out if you're high powered units over time. So it does keep that essence of like stall.
Well, I mean, you also have... This makes your hand very efficient.
Of course, like...
Considering you have Soul Blast 1 to draw a card in this deck.
Yeah, you just like replace it. Basically, we actually have 2 cards that just replace itself on play, which is...
Well, this is Counterblast 2, generate 3 cards
like that's all.
That are very powerful. You know,
it's not even once per turn, right? So technically, you're being rushed. You can just like, let me keep all my cards. Counterblast 4.
Yeah,
you could do that.
Do this. Yeah.
It's very high value. Like
you're probably not going.
You're probably not going to. But the fact that
but it's an 18k
on its own
attacker itself.
There's still Vanguard Regard, which I'm not sure how much it matters, but like you could call it out if you have too many, I guess.
If you have nothing else in hand, and you've already
Persona you can, like, might as well drop it down.
You could call this for an 18k front row beater. Yeah, it's rare we've seen these Persona Ride focus cards have a rearguard skill. I think the only other one.
I think it's the only one.
Remember now? No, it's not.
The other brand gate, the other brand
does as well. Yeah, Seraphis.
Yeah, Seraphite.
That has one too.
We see this in brand gate so far.
We both tested this a fair bit, and I would say of the 5 secondary,
it really feels the best.
This is the best. Yeah, this is the best by a long way. It's very, very simple. It's very, very forgiving. Yeah. It's very linear. There's not a lot you can really fuck up. The only fail criteria really is, do you get a second world card?
Especially if New Mulligan, there's no real excuse to not try to get one in hand.
Yeah. That's all you really have to do. It's very, very powerful.
The deck's kind of vanilla, 3 decks per turn.
I do think it's somewhat capped a little bit power-wise, so I think this will be very good out of the gate, and I think it will lose momentum as we kind of go forwards into a few sets.
Unless you see...
But you compare this to Eugene.
Yeah, this card's like obviously much more high value.
Oh, it's so much better than fucking Eugene's crap, dude. I just hate that card.
Stop shitting on Eugene, yeah?
I'm very committed to my role as the Dragon Empire lead, to the point at which I'm being brutally honest that Eugene sucks. I do think it could be good later.
Like for Orfist, also the opposite. Is like it's really good now, but unless we get more cards that work off Abyssal Dark Knight, it might not really be good in long term. But for now, it's very impressive.
We're literally just looking at the ride line. And
yeah.
We can already say this is pretty good.
You also got like a great one. Okay, Brand Gate in general. It's a great one, 8k, where if you have set order, at the end of battle you boosted, you can put it to the soul to just counter charge 1, which is like, so that's your counter charge.
Which is really good for this, because this needs Counter Blast and it needs Soul Blast. So there you go. Yeah, I think that's a very good card, so I was going to bring that card up as well.
In general, yeah, it's a very good card.
I think the other stuff we've got so far for Brandgate isn't
it's just more stuff
exciting.
for present.
There's one that's if you have a set you can Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, I think.
Oh, then you can call it out. Is it? This is that thing?
No, I think it's if you're in Abyssal Dark.
Oh yeah, it's
grade
like
2. Yeah,
Soul Blast 1 you draw 1. Yeah. That's it. No power, no nothing. It's like, I suppose.
I mean, that's fine.
It's fine, yeah. I'll probably value having more condos for the tokens instead, but maybe if you're desperately trying to get a perfect card in your hand or something, it could be useful. Just try and draw.
Alright, here we go. It's Frigid Mutant Drumler.
Some like evil alien thing, I guess.
Well, it's just, if it's placed on rearguard circle, if you're in Abyssal Dark Knight, can't plus one,
draw,
plus one, draw a card. That's perfectly fine. In this deck, I think you can afford to pay those costs.
Especially the new Grid 1.
So I think it's just really good. Like I can see this being the money card because of the art.
The whole art is drawn by one of everyone's favorite artists, which is Daisuke Izuka. He's like the one who draw a lot of meta cards, I guess. Like just to name a few: Chaos Breaker Dragon, Raging Form Dragon. Like this for the Gen era, even in like G era, we have like Lambros, Chaos Breaker, like we mentioned before. That it's like it's such iconic art, and of course with the sight at the back. It does like call back to Chaos Breaker, so
it looks super cool. It looks dope. I don't think anyone is going to criticize this card for how it looks. It's one of the coolest looking cards in the new set. Yeah, I can honestly see this being a really good deck out the gate. I don't know about long term.
You are being kept by tokens unless your regards do things.
Let's put it this way: comparing it to Hexa Orb, Eugene, Zorga, and whatever the other one is. I don't even remember what the other one is.
Baromagnus.
Baromagnus. Baromagnus, yeah. I think this is a head and shoulders above all of those right now.
It feels the most complete, but that's probably because of the whole token mechanic.
I think it's very good. This is what I was going to talk about before. I think apart from this one, all of the secondary ride lines from the set all have the same issues, that the priority for Bushiroad seems to be to complete the start deck decks. And so these ride lines don't really have enough higher rarity slots devoted to them to make them particularly
complete
viable. Maybe viable is not the right word, but they're not as they're notably lower power. At least the other four, aside from Orfist. I still think Orfist is lower power as well, actually.
Compared to Bruce and Bastion,
Compared to Bruce and Bastion, yeah. But it's better than the other four out of the game. I mean, the other four, that they could all get pieces that make them amazing.
I think
wrong, but looking at them now,
they at least even when we look at the card list, like there's not many slots left. Like maybe like one Dabar for some of them. So unless that has a huge impact, like I'm not sure how will it be off set one compared to the full power decks. At least if Varina looking to be very strong, we just like.
On the plus side, these are probably going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
I would say not.
Not
Orfist will be expensive just because how it looks. I think people will want it. It's the same reason like Chaos Breaker from Clan Selection is stupid expensive and it's shit.
I was going to get it. Then when they announced Overdress, I was like, okay, I guess I'm saving my money. That's what happened to me.
I'm joking. I don't think Chaos Breaker's shit, but I think it's very overrated.
Yeah. It mostly the hype of that. It's just that particular art style appeals to so many people.
It's the hype of the art style and it's the hype of the mechanic. Locke has this reputation as being this
game changer,
game breaking mechanic, and I think that's unjustified in V. Personally, I think Chaos Breaker is good. I don't think it's amazing. I think it keeps a lot of decks
out of the meta.
Well, I don't know out of the meta, but it keeps a lot of decks from being as competitive as they would otherwise be.
It's a gatekeeper,
but it doesn't. In my opinion, I'm not particularly scared of it if I'm playing
a good deck against it.
Angel Feather, if I'm playing
even the Cross. That's what I'm playing.
Even the Cross, yeah, the Cross. I don't give a fuck about
exactly.
The Cross. You know what I mean? So I'm not. It's fine, but I'm not super worried about it. For most of those days.
So I think that covers most of the cards, maybe. Like Brown Gate.
So that's all the new stuff. So
Brown Gate got a new double R, but that's like prison stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, fine. We're going to talk about that. I didn't even think it was that interesting. We can talk about it if you want.
I mean, basically, it's some great one shot. Some robot guy. It's like come plus one, so plus one.
We actually have two triple rares. We have the one we just talked. Double rare. Sorry, we have the one we just talked about. The counterblast one soul. I put in the soul.
You put in soul, counter charge one. Yeah, there's one of them.
But then we have Super Speed Robo Cheval Stud.
The name.
All right. Yeah, who is straight up a transformer.
Yeah, a lot of Brown Gate stuff.
Like, they're not even pretending in that.
Yeah. Like Transformer TCG, we had some art level for it, right? They didn't.
Yeah, I guess they just bought some spare excess art.
The game ended, like, I think earlier this year.
Yeah, last year. Act once per turn, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and imprison it in your prison. Then, if 3 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, draw a card. So it's nothing too exciting. It's fine.
It just helps the decks do what it wants.
I mean, the fact that it's not one place.
Yeah, it's not. It's
once per turn act. It is pretty nice. So that's quite a high value piece to
Especially since Seraph binds to this, is only going to draw your card that you have to counterblast.
Yeah. I think it's very good. But not like too oppressive.
We'll talk prison in more detail once we figure out the matchup, because I think it's a very reactive deck.
Honestly, I think it's so boring.
Yeah, it's pretty boring, but
I find reactive decks boring. I kind of question how good Prison's going to be out of the gate, but let's see what its triple red does. So, the other big exciting piece of not news, but I guess it is news in some cases. We have the other 4 over triggers now. We got the Dark States one the day after we recorded.
Yeah,
obviously.
Obviously, the day after the stream.
Yeah, and then we got the other 3 on Tuesday.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so we're going to go over. We'll go over Dark States Dragon Empire again, and then we'll look at the other 4 because we only talked about this kind of briefly. So this is Dragon Deity King of Resurgence Drag Vader, or as I call it, Trigonic Overlord, which is standard over trigger. So when revealed, draw a card, choose one of your units that gets 100 million power, and remove this from play. And then if you take it as a drive check, you also choose one of your vanguards in standard. I actually think this is maybe one of the weaker ones.
I suppose when you look at the others, right?
When you look at what some of the other ones do, this is actually a little underwhelming. Maybe underwhelming isn't fair, considering that Dragon Empire right now is not very Vanguard focused.
Yeah. Apart from like Nirvana having the kind of on attack skill, but there's not really.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Dragon Empire, their second deck, to be your power up the Vanguard and your Vanguard punches face, but there's honestly nothing is really that. I guess Barrow Magnus is that to an extent.
Yeah.
But none of the other decks are that, which was a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought that would be what it was, to be honest. I'm assuming. Oh, do you know what?
What? For what?
I just had a thought. I wonder if the new Verena is going to be like another Vanguard that restands.
That'd be interesting. Because
and then if you check this, you can restand that. You know,
because
that'd be cool.
The current like it makes a regular into the Vanguard, right? Yeah. No, it's really cool. Like gets a lot and all that. I could see that happening though.
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Like if it's overdressed on top of like the whole line, it gets a Vanguard.
If this is an overdress,
that'll be really cool though.
Yeah,
I could see that.
And then of course this could actually be more aimed towards that deck, because I don't think this is actually that good. Compared to I don't think it's bad. Like I say, I don't want to. It's not bad at all. It's still amazing.
I'll say it's only bad if everybody checks their over trigger during the game.
Yeah, exactly. If you check this, you're probably still going to win.
If everybody's guaranteed to check it,
you're probably still going to win if you check this. The thing that we found is when we played is I don't think you checked one.
Yeah, I did check one at all.
But I kept checking them defensively. And I remember I used one to keep a Verena alive.
Yeah. To an extent.
which won me the game, I think. Yeah, I think this is good still. It's just, I don't know, it looks less impressive on paper than some of the other ones.
But it's still going to win you games. So.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like the other ones can be, ridiculous. It doesn't. The baseline is still so good.
Nah, I would say at least for Dravoth, it's always good no matter what the situation, because you always have your Vanguard. It doesn't require any specific setup.
I would say it does kind of scale with what grade you're on. If you're on grade 1 or 2, that is considerably worse than if you're on grade 3.
But once you're on grade 3, it's like anytime you hit that, it's such a huge tempo change. And you don't be... Let's say you fight like a deck... Let's say you fight Prison, you have no regards, you have no counterblast. It's still going to help you push.
Hades Dragon Deity of Resentment, Gal Mage held. I can't say that. In Japanese, they pronounce that as Guru Mejirudu. I don't know how you pronounce that, but that's what it's called. Maybe it's Gaul Mage, like it's a gallbladder. The Gaul Mage. This one's a little funky.
So once you dry check it, like the rest of them, you get its additional effect is you, the player, gets 10,000 and 1 crit during your turn. So this is a permanent effect.
On your Vanguard.
On the Vanguard, yeah.
Basically, imagine getting a free Force 1 and 2 marker
Vanguard.
and putting them under your
for
Vanguard.
the rest of the game.
That's basically what it is. So if you check this on turn 1, this does something for the whole game.
Yeah.
I think it's perhaps... I mean, maybe it's less impactful in the moment. I don't know if it is, actually. If you give your Vanguard 100 million and 1 critical, that's actually pretty
That's still good, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The fact that it has a crit trigger effect kind of makes this quite high value just to put on your Vanguard, I suppose. But yeah, that one's very good. I mean, they're all very good, aren't they?
This one is better the earlier you check it.
Really, because you can't really plan a deck around them or anything. So it's not like they're not. I don't think they're worth analysing too much.
Yeah.
They're just kind of hype cards. Like I said, you get your overtrigger, that's the mom get the camera, isn't it? That's your big, oh shit, an overtrigger.
Maybe like if you're in tournaments, maybe like you should start counting your cards. Your opponent start counting his cards. Maybe you'll think about it during that moment, but you're not building a deck around it.
Yeah. Obviously, you want to track it within your deck and think about it.
You'll be like,
it's still a very
this could
thing.
happen. you just play around it.
You can't. There's no way, I think, to rely on this. And I would say Dark States is the least likely, probably, to check it because it's going to go in the soul. we both drew into ours a few times, didn't we?
Yeah. At least if Bruce, we have Portal Bob, so you can take a 50k shield at the very least. But yeah.
Yeah, I just think the chances of it...
it's more likely to end up in the soul.
Yeah, I think it's more like I said, they're not... they're all very powerful, but they're not necessarily inherently something you should build your deck around. So then we have Key to Sanctuary. You could do this one.
Light Dragon Deity of Honors. Armatinoa, yeah. So its effect is when you check it, all your regards get drive check for the rest of the turn, yeah. So immediately you play in Bastion, it's like your grade 3s will get Twin Drive in case you're wondering. Yeah, this can go very crazy. I know in Premium people are freaking all out about it because of some Platina or Ultima thing, yeah. But that's like a different thing altogether. But in the context of standard Overdress, right? This is also like very impactful, but this compared to like Dragon Pyre at least, it only works when you're already set up for winning.
Yeah.
It's a very strong skill because technically in Bastion you can go like Rearguard, Vanguard, check Overtrigger, then your other Rearguard attacks. If you check a grade 3 in either of those battles, you can get 6 checks. Yeah. If you gamble it, maybe you can get 8, but that's a gamble.
It's very good. Yeah. Like you say, like we keep saying, I mean, I think this one is obviously the most likely to be abused in Premium, but it's too soon to talk about Premium. I think there is going to be some, when this stuff all comes out, there is going to be some kind of Premium restriction list or something just to deal with it, I think.
I hope so, yeah.
Because this is a bit silly with Ultima. Potentially. We have to wait and see, really. Also, he looks awesome. He's a big old pimp dragon with a staff.
Yeah, he looks awesome. This, at least for Kita, like, I'm quite confident to say that we'll be playing this over the Elemental, over Trigger, because this is like just so strong when you get it off. I think
Dark States, you may prefer, at least in Bruce.
Yeah, you might prefer the Elemental one. Because like, if you check it later in the game, the over Trigger may not win you the game, because your opponent's gonna send in all your Vanguard regardless, then you'll get 100 million as opposed to 200 million, which is asking for 2 more perfect guards instead of just 1.
Whereas also, considering one of those rear guards is going to be 100 million with 2 crit, if you get Eden, I can see them potentially. At least there is a debate to be had.
The crit only goes to the Vanguard, remember?
No, I mean the crit from Eden, when Eden restands.
Oh, Eden, yeah, with Eden, yeah.
So there are reasons to. I suppose you still get the 100 million from this though as well. So, but yeah, I think there is at least some kind of debate there. It's not like that one is just immediately obsolete.
Yeah.
So then we've got the Stoicheia one, which is Source Dragon Deity of Blessings, Bless Favor, or Buresa Faburu in Japanese. Well, this one has it. I like the text on this one because it just says "draw a card" with an exclamation mark. Shit, draw a card. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, this additional effect is obviously all of them have the same over trigger effect. Remove from game, draw a card. But this one also has draw a card. Choose one of your units that gets critical 1, and all of your front row units gets power 10k. If your damage zone has more cards than your opponent, choose a card from your damage zone, heal it. So it's basically all 4 of the other triggers.
So when you check it, you get crit, front, heal, draw. Yeah. In addition to Overtrigger.
Which is alright. People keep saying that it's supposed to be if your damage zone has more or equal cards. But I can't find any verification of that, so take that with a pinch of salt. It's pretty good. Again, that's what you could say about most of them. It's pretty good.
I'll say out of all of them, like this is the least like game winning by itself.
Maybe.
I mean, it's always good, but like compared to like extra drive checks and extra resend, it's quite comparable with the Dark States one. Yeah. I mean, it's still a heal. Yeah. So.
But if you have 2 front row units, this is always going to do something.
Honestly, I feel this skill is actually created because like they didn't know what team to go with for Socia. Like if Dragon Power is like, okay, Dragon's Tristan. Dark States is like, okay, we have introduced to start like player against skill things. Let's go with that. Then for like Kita Sanctuary, there's like drive checks, grade 3s, like more triggers, Hexorb, like one hit. Grade 3 drive checks. Bastion is okay with it. But if Blessed Favor, right, because it's in the end it's still made up of 5 clans.
Some of which work very mechanically different. Yeah.
I feel they went with a very generic effect to make sure everybody can kind of use it, as opposed to like the other 3.
I mean, I think that's true of all of them.
Even Hexorb, like I said, because you get more drive checks, so Hexorb can still power them out.
Actually, Hexorb's skill, is it when she drive checks or when anything drive checks?
No. It's the same as Bastion, when any unit drive checks. Except hers is not once per turn. What you could do technically is you could save the restand on your Bastion attack with the Ray Guard, hope you check a grade 3, restand the Ray Guard with 100 million. Yeah, you could do things like that. But for Blessed Favor, it's always going to be good. Like you won't complain for heal crit front.
I mean,
draw,
let's be real. If you check your Overtrigger, as long as it's kind of on a turn where you're trying to win the game, you're never going to complain. None of these.
It's still gonna, yeah.
And then finally, we have Star Dragon Deity of Infinitude, Elder Breath.
What does that mean? Infinitude?
I don't know.
Elder Breath.
And in Japanese, Erudo Buresu. I'm really enjoying that. That's really fun. I'm gonna get in trouble for some of these, maybe.
So if you don't see him in a few weeks' time, you'll know people will come after him.
The weebs have come for me. It's not pronounced that way.
So its additional effect is you double the power and critical of all your front rows units at the end of turn.
Very, very simple.
It doubles it at the moment.
One of your front row units is going to have 100 million power.
Times 2, yeah. Times 2, yeah. You'll be 200.
So even an Overtrigger's not going to save from that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's pretty good, isn't it? It's nothing too exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate like because not so much the power, but the critical double. Really helps.
Definitely.
Because what I feel about Browning, like both builds feel a bit too defensive or like reactive.
Also, it doesn't say double the base power and base critical.
Yeah, so if you do check crit before you check this, yeah, it will double.
Or you have a unit that could potentially give itself additional power or crit.
Gain crit, yes. So if let's say the premium like force 2, it becomes 4 crit.
So that's pretty good. Well, like I said, they're all good. There were none of these where you're going to check them and go, oh, they're always going to get a big swing in your favour from one of them.
I also feel like people keep comparing the 5, like. I'm like, you could do that, but like eventually, if you're playing that nation, you don't have a choice.
There's not a lot of point in comparing.
It's like you can compare them. You can compare them with the elemental. Yeah, that's fair. But when you're deck building, just play what you have.
But I also don't think that if you can't afford these or you only have the elemental one, I don't think you're that far behind with that. I think it's still going to fundamentally do its job most of the time. It is perhaps a little bit worse than some of them, but it's not like I said, if that's all you have, you're fine. Don't worry. These are not right now huge things you essentially need in your deck.
Yeah, unless you check them like every game or some reason.
Unless you're cheating. Yeah. If you're cheating, you're cheating.
You're cheating. Then
you're stacking your deck. You want this. Yeah. I feel like perhaps this is the reason why Hexa Orb is not very good. I think they want to reduce the likelihood of Hexa Orb being able to filter to it.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's why Hexa Orb is not amazing right now. Overall, very good. They all feel really cool. They all feel a bit different from each other. I don't think any of them feel so much better than another one that you're going to feel salty that your opponent has that one and you don't. They all feel good. I don't like Brant Gates' art. I think, it looks stupid.
Oh, you mean the dragon?
I don't like that one.
It's fine.
That's the only one I don't like.
Kita Century looks the best to me.
I really like the Stoic Hair one. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, second looks nice.
But I've always really liked... It looks very Great Nature-y. I've always liked Great Nature strides. They always look cool. I don't like anything else in Great Nature, but their strides look kick-ass. Otherwise, the other four I think all look cool. I'm not super into Gaul Mage Held. Gaul Mage Held? I can't say that quickly.
Gaul Mage Held.
The Dark States one. Yeah, it looks a little meh.
Yeah, I'm sure if you like this art style, all the regular fans are going insane. Like, oh, it's a ghost dragon. Whatever it is.
It's an Abyss Dragon, apparently.
Oh, it's a Abyss Dragon. Oh, interesting.
Oh, Dragvader is a Plasma Dragon.
Yeah, it's actually not a Flame Dragon. It's a Plasma Dragon.
Plasma Dragon. Fuck, dude. Do they not know what... I wonder if Bushiroad knows what Plasma is.
Same.
We had some other stuff we want to talk about. I don't know if we're going to be able to go into them in enough detail. Maybe we could save that for another week, yeah. Because I feel like in 2 weeks' time, we're not going to have as much to talk about. Because that's the problem right now, is there's loads we want to talk about that we don't have time to talk about. You know, we haven't talked about clan selection yet.
Premium.
We haven't talked about premium at all. So it's kind of, this has become a very overdress focused podcast. Just because that's what's new, you know.
Personally, I would like to just talk about the mentality behind how to prep games, how to test play and all these sort of things.
I mean, I suppose that's not that relevant soon, is it? Proxying, at least. It's out in a couple of weeks, isn't it? Yeah. But
I suppose what else we have talked about today is I guess Set 2 was announced and nothing much to say, but the cover card is another
Varina, yeah.
It's another Varina. That's guaranteed, yeah.
I was surprised about that, to be honest, because that's now 4 Varinas.
Yeah, I did expect another cover card Varina.
We'll have to see what it does.
So what's your favorite deck out of the 10, I guess?
Should we try and rank them? Should we do a tier list?
Tier list, oh... sure. What?
Right now, I want to make it clear. This is April Fool's Day. So if everyone goes that tier list shit, we can go it's April Fool's. So we got that as a defense. Don't worry about it. If we do a really bad tier list, we make really bad takes. Anything we say in this episode, we can go as just a prank.
For context, again, this is what we know up to April 1st. Yeah.
This is the 1st of April. It is genuinely the 1st of April today. It won't be when this goes out, but it is when we're recording.
Also at the top is Bastion and Bruce. I'm not sure who is better because both are very strong.
I think, Bastion and Bruce are at the top. For me, I would probably be inclined to give a slight edge to Bruce.
I'm on Team Bastion for now, but because I feel Bruce going second, because
Bruce going second into Bastion is before a tough sell. Yeah,
it's Bastion's. You really need to draw on triggers to survive, but Bruce has that very stable. Once he hits final rush, it becomes super stable.
That's true. I think Bastion does have the problem, though. You are very, very, in my opinion, reliant on drawing into Alden. Or your order cards. Yeah.
Which is why I'm still playing the Hour of Holy Judgment Commonwealth.
Well, I mean, I wasn't running it and you were, and I kept bricking.
Yeah.
I kept getting these brick hands.
Bricking, yeah. Which is why I really enjoy the Painkiller Angel and Commonwealth and the new Grade 3. It really rounds out the deck nicely. And there's still one more double R to be revealed. So maybe it's another Grade 3, like we've said earlier.
I hope that one's for Hexaorb personally. But yeah, it may not be, yeah. I suppose it could be useful in both. Alden is... if you don't see Alden, though, you're going to have a bad time. And that's why I kind of give it to Bruce. I don't necessarily think Bruce is better. It just feels a little safer.
Yeah, safer. Kita has a higher ceiling because your deck sort of from turn 3 onwards it just goes off and off and off, and hopefully your opponent just cannot keep up with it. So it's very strong in that regard. But at the same time, it's because of the natural Grade 3 weakness. You're very prone to being rushed. So Dragon Empire and even Stoshia with Magnolia, all these multiple attack decks or rush decks can give you a lot of problems. You do have the draw power to come back, but you still struggle if you don't draw everything.
But that's the thing, it doesn't have much of an early game, Bastion. And nor does Bruce.
Yeah.
But Bastion can have a bad early game and still brick. Whereas Bruce has a bad early game and then you're going to have a decent turn 4 no matter what. And that just isn't something that's as likely to happen.
Also, I guess Bruce... It's harder to deny Bruce. There's no way to counter the final rush. It's once it's active.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't counterblast deny it. You can't. There's nothing you can do. It's going to happen.
For Bastion, you can control his resources, his regards, his souls, counterblast. you can still try
I mean,
to
there were so
slow
many
it down.
games where I wasn't deliberately never giving you 2 counterblast and stuff, and that I think was quite a legitimate strategy.
Especially if you can't deal with a second Elden. Yeah.
So I think they both have strengths and weaknesses. I suppose I guess I prefer Bruce. I don't necessarily think it's better. I kind of do think it's better, but I do think Bastion. I think it's pretty close.
I think it's very close. Like these 2 decks are like by far above the rest for the moment. Before what we've seen,
We're putting them as tier 1 right now. We're putting them as tier
1. Yeah, let's say tier 1.
So now, obviously, none of the other decks we've seen the triple rares for. So straight away,
so
those are gonna be the best, right? But I think coming in tier 2, I think is Dragon Empire.
Dragon Empire, yeah, Overdress in particular.
Specifically the Overdress deck, Verena, yeah.
Specifically, Overdress.
Nirvana, I suppose, is the deck, isn't it?
It's just fast, consistent, hits hard.
It's very consistent. It's very resource efficient. Like I was getting, getting ridiculous hands yesterday, wasn't I? The thing is, I didn't have any finishing power really, so I was throwing away cards just to get stuff going. Yeah,
just to play more Overdress.
So I think they do need that final triple rare to push them up, but I think they could definitely be up there with the other 2.
Final push, yeah.
Once they get it. But right now,
I'll say like Orfist and maybe Prison are in the same tier.
I don't know.
I'm really not sure.
It's hard to really say anything about Prison.
I feel Prison's going to be like, at least in competitive play, it'll be the deck which you always have to know how to play against.
I think long term, yeah. Right now, I'm not sold on it.
If you don't know how to play around Prison, your opponent's going to take advantage of your lack of knowledge of the game, yeah.
I think right now it's a hard sell for me. I think it's got very efficient removal. It's more, we talked about it before, haven't we? It's more disruption than removal, but
there's no endgame yet. I guess the endgame is supposed to be grinding it out, but there's still 1 triple R, which is like we haven't seen.
Yeah, I want to see the triple rare before I put that anywhere, because I would not put that right now. I would not put that on the same tier as Dragon Empire personally. I think it will be there long term. I think it definitely will be by the time we've had that reveal or better. But right now, it just I don't know. It just feels like it doesn't do anything to me. Maybe that's me being a bit unfair. Because you know me, I do have like something against any reactive decks. I seem to just hate them on principle. It is very, very reactive.
I'll say that's why it does well.
To do anything in that deck, you have to survive aggressive turns, and it doesn't really have any major advantage in that sense.
Yeah, especially since there are ways to play around Prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruce just doesn't call anything. Kita just has to like play around with the radar skills and positioning. There are ways to play around it.
So that's my problem with it right now. Is it's too
reactive.
Yeah, it's too reactive. I think it's. By the time I've seen that triple rare, I think I'll probably put it up with the others.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm kind of, I don't know. The meta is slow enough now where you could have a reactive deck in it.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't the end of V where a reactive deck just has no chance against the best decks. It's not like that. It could be there for sure. It's just, it's reliant on removal that can be played around. There's nothing it does defensively that the others can't also do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if it could, like, I keep saying, I think it is inevitable that we will see it get a Blitzor that removes in the battle phase. But until we see that,
something like that,
I feel like it doesn't stall enough. That's just my personal feeling. I think Orfist though is probably on the same level as
Dragon Empire.
Overdress Dragon Empire, yeah.
Overdress Dragon Empire. Yeah, I think that at the moment at least, it really feels that way.
Yeah.
Of course, this is just a general ranking, so some decks. Doesn't mean a deck is higher on the tier list. It cannot lose below it because there's still bad matchups and all that.
Yeah.
Objectively thinking, this is just how the decks perform overall.
Yeah. And then I think down at the bottom,
Stoicheia.
Well, okay, I think both Stoicheia decks will scale well going forwards.
Yeah, they have the potential to do that for sure.
Yeah. I think right now they are both pretty bad.
Yeah, Magnolia has no consistency.
Yeah. I mean, when we were playing, by turn 3, you had no cards in your hand and your board was empty. and that was it. You had no way of getting back from it. And one defensive trigger and that was it. Your turn was over.
Yep.
I think Magnolia will be up there eventually. It's just because of how it works.
They will get better over time.
I think so, yeah. I just think right now it's kind of But Zorga is not very good and is very, very fragile.
Yeah, because you have to play so many order cards to make it work constantly.
Yeah, it has all the problems that Bastion has, with none of the kind of consistency that Bastion has.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I just said how inconsistent Bastion could be, but
Bastion is it's pretty good still.
Like, it doesn't have the power Bastion has. It doesn't have. It's still 3 attacks.
Bastion at least has the gimmick of getting the 4th attack.
Yeah,
which actually matters a lot.
And we mentioned it last week when we were talking about it. Is if you don't get the orders in the drop zone and you don't get the specific orders you want in the drop zone, there are problems with Alchemy Magic. Yeah,
Alchemy Magic will be a problem.
I think it's a deck that will eventually be good, but right now it's a little questionable. I think part of the problem as well is simply that it's a new mechanic.
Soul Charge is definitely a thing. Yeah.
Well, yes, that's true. Yeah, that's very
the
true.
whole nation is lacking Soul Charge.
Yeah, that's very true.
I know. Like previously, like V series, people complaining like Roy Paladin, where's my counter charge? It became a meme, right?
Yeah.
But like at least with RP, you can play around it. But the fact that all the cards here actively use Soul Blast, that you can't even like plan out your turn on it. You really need a way to Soul Charge.
Yeah.
Or yes, at least guarantee your persona, right?
Yeah, definitely.
At the very least.
But yeah, you do struggle with it. I think it's. I think part of the problem it has is its new mechanics. It's dealing with order cards. Bushiroad doesn't want to make order cards too good out the gate.
Yeah. So those you've seen is like pretty okay, but not very good.
But I think in a couple of months we'll see, or in a couple of sets, we'll see perhaps an order card that's tied to Zorga and does something really good and really efficient, and then the deck will suddenly look a lot better. But for now, I really like how it works. I should say that. I don't want to sound like I'm saying the deck is shit and it's boring, and I don't think that. I just think it's not where it needs to be yet.
I would say along with the tier above, which contains Seraphite, right, the prison deck. I think Baron Magnus and Hextop has a good chance to be there once he's.
I think Baron Magnus is probably just above Stoicheia, but perhaps just below Prison, or on the same level as Prison.
It's like they're showing enough signs of life that there is a lot of potential to pick up the deck.
Yeah, I think they're a bit nervous about making Baron Magnus too good.
Also, like we just haven't seen enough. Like both Hextop and Baron Magnus are still missing the one last bar, which hopefully will support them.
Right
Same
now,
as Eugene, I guess.
Well, hang on, let's start from the top, right? So, Keita and Bruce at the top, then Dragon Empire and Orfist, and then I would put Prison on its own.
On its own?
Yeah, and then I would put
Baron Magnus.
Actually, I would put Baron Magnus. Baron Magnus below Prison. I'll put Baron Magnus and Hexa Orb there, I think.
Eugene, I'll put it there too.
No. Don't. Then it's Stoicheia as a whole.
Stoicheia.
And then it's Eugene. No, I put Eugene on the same level as the Stoicheia decks.
I think Eugene beats those decks too. Beats those shit.
What doesn't beat those decks? Like, that's not impressive. to beat the worst decks.
Maybe same level. Yeah, maybe same level. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, so there's going to be a card of the day tomorrow, and we're going to look stupid. But, because I'm very aware that I made the claim that Colossus was. I still stand by it. I still think Colossus is really good. I just think we have to get something better.
Personally, I would still play some copies of it, but like,
I think so.
It's not a
You
must.
could still play copies of it, yeah, but you don't need to. You definitely don't need to.
You could play it, but it's not a must anymore. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the stupid claim I made last episode.
Yeah.
Well, partly it's because they're giving it a higher rarity reprint.
Yeah, Tripar in the festival collection.
I was baited.
I already confirmed for my Tripar triggers already. So there's some follow up from the last.
Oh, are you gonna max out then on?
Not SPs. Maybe just Tripar rarity. I do want to see how nice the SPs are though. Yeah, the SPs are very nice.
I'm probably not going to max out anything.
Yeah.
I think triggers are just I don't very often.
Such a flex.
My girlfriend maxed out one of the budget Bermuda decks, Seredy.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I said she maxed out. She maxed out on Seredy. She went for the highest rarity on that because she really likes that card. Like, it's not
Is the one with the blue hair, right?
I don't know. It's got pink hair, I think.
Pink hair. I'm not sure. Okay.
I can't. It's the one where you show 2 cards from hand. And
I got it.
10k or whatever per card. Yeah, that one. She really likes that card art, so she went to max rarity on it. But that's not like a competitive deck. She just likes how it looks.
Last time I max rarity thing was like Messiah in G-Era. The last time I max rarity anything.
God, that must be expensive.
Yeah, pretty expensive, but yeah. At the time I was still young. I was like, money will come back. And now when as you grow older, it's like, oh yeah, money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got a lot. I have to be really sensible. I have money, so I have to be disciplined.
Yeah, disciplined.
I just spend it all on card games.
Yeah, like I think you saw it the other day, right?
actually, the same stream, they released the Perfectus Messiah. Perfectus, usually the winner promo. I'm like, I'm so salty that's a champion promo. I'm like, the art's so good. But like, damn, it's like winner only promo. I'm like, damn. The playmat also winner only qualifier. I'm like, oh, I'm so salty. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's just, I was disappointed they gave it the exact same skill as the Overlord one.
But you know what's funny? Like, if all of them were actually legit playable, like, this would actually be broken.
No.
Because there's so many Messiahs in Grade 1 and there's so many Grade 1 and Grade 2 and Grade 3 Messiahs. And there's so many ways of soul charge in Premium.
No, I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's going to be a winning deck.
I'm pretty sure it's broken, yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it would be at least playable. The Overlord one isn't...
Almost a meme, yeah.
Yeah, it's a meme one. Oh, I don't know. The cross you could. Is the cross? No, is the cross's skill once per turn? Could you just use like so? Just.
No, it's not per turn.
Boo.
Well, because Messiah, we have the GRL Lily Fencer, so you get like, soul charge, unlock soul charge again.
Yeah.
In one thing, you get like five soul charges. You have 2 of those. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
So we're getting to the end of the show. Anything else? The end of the show. Anything else you want to talk about? Or are we? I think we save because we were going to have a chat about like proxying and testing and stuff and how to test but maybe we do that next week or whenever we have time. Because I don't know. Knowing us, next week they'll announce some crazy new shit and we'll have to spend an hour and a half talking about that.
Yeah. Ultimately, at least for coming like it's basically like 2 weeks before the set release in the Japanese format, like
yeah, it's really soon. Yeah,
all decks really have their own personality, which are like I'm actually tempted to make like a small like test, like like back in the day, early internet, early 2000s, there was like, oh, you can show the quiz, you are this character.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I feel like making one.
Oh yeah, like
one
which Hogwarts house are you?
Yeah,
and shit like that.
I feel like making one for Overdress.
Which character from the Matrix are you? I used to love those things, dude. Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah, we should make our own. We should do one, like the official.
Yeah, I think I'm making one for like 10 for the first index.
Yeah, we'll do that for the Axis Vanguard. Which deck should you play? Which nation?
Which deck should you play?
That'd be pretty fun.
Then you watch it.
Okay, so I think we'll leave it there then. What's our website?
Okay, my website is CFV Axis Vanguard.
You don't even know it.
Yeah.
CFV Axis Vanguard.blogspot.com. No, not to Blogspot. Fuck. Yeah. CFV Axis Vanguard.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
We have got
one. We've got one, but we can't link it or something. There's some problem with WordPress being.
As usual, I'll leave it in the description if it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or maybe just search it up.
Yeah. And obviously,
wherever you see this,
you can find us in other places as well. We're on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're still on Apple Podcasts. Don't know why. For some reason, they aren't getting back to us.
Apple hates Vanguard.
Yeah, Apple listened to this and they went, what? He doesn't like Eugene. Not putting that on. Eugene's the best fucking card. Yeah, Eugene. You don't like Eugene, you're not getting an Apple podcast. So that's why we're not on Apple. What else is there? But we're also on YouTube. So if you find it on YouTube, hit us up on Spotify and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, feel free to leave comments. Like,
nice comments.
Happy.
Sorry, I'm just leaning over to
nice
the thing I dropped on the floor. Sorry. Leave nice comments. We don't want any constructive criticism. No negative feedback, please. We're both very sensitive. No, I'm joking. If you want to have an argument with me about how Eugene's the best card ever, hit me up. But obviously, check us out in those places. You know, in the end of the last episode, you just went, I've got to go by and left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry for the quality of the audio.
It was just really funny. You literally just went, oh, yeah, bye. And then left.
Yeah, I had something really urgent to go.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't think else to say. We'd extend it there then. And also shout out to Vanguard, Axis Vanguard kiteboards as well.
Yeah.
Don't sue us.
The military shout out.
Yeah, there are. I want to get to the point where people contact them and say, "There's a podcast that keeps saying thanks to you at the end," and they sponsor us and they send me a load of kiteboards.
Yeah,
and then we can do a video of me whizzing around through the Swedish countryside on a kiteboard. What is a kiteboard? Do we know? I'm assuming it's a board where you have a kite and it pulls you along in the wind.
No.
That's a kiteboard,
It's
isn't
not a
it?
skateboard, but it's a bit.
Is that
it's
kite
like,
surfing?
It's not one straight board.
I think that's what kiteboarding is. Okay, well, apparently not. But that is a thing. Like that does exist, where you have a kite that pulls you along in the wind. Yeah, that exists.
Isn't it like kite surfing?
No, but that's in the sea. Kite surfing. You could do it on land on a skateboard.
I don't know.
It's a real thing. I've not made it up.
I guess. I don't know.
It's a real thing. It is. I would not do that around here though, because it's like the windiest place in the world. It'd just be a video of me getting carried off.
With your kite,
yeah, a video of me getting carried off to Denmark.
You have they're on like your kite. You put the Axis Vanguard logo. It's like see sponsored.
Yeah, we put the Axis Vanguard logo on the kite, and then it gets struck by lightning, and I die. That's probably what happened. Yeah, me. What was it? Who was it who did the lightning? Who did the thing with the key on a kite in the thunderstorm? Is that like who was that?
Is that a scientist?
Yeah, like a guy did. Is it Benjamin Franklin or something? Probably. Who did that?
Benjamin Franklin, lightning. Yeah,
Key,
Benjamin Franklin.
Kite, lightning. Yeah, key, kite, lightning. Who did that? It was Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah,
all right.
Benjamin Franklin.
I'm not American. We already.
Our podcast is so
right.
educational, man. We talk about blood stuff.
I'm English. We
Yeah.
When Benjamin Franklin said we knew about electricity for ages, we just let Benjamin Franklin take the credit for it. I'm gonna have to cut this bit out because some people are gonna get really angry that I said that. Okay, we'll cut all this. We'll cut all this. If this is still in the episode, it's because I got bored by the end of editing it and didn't cut it out. So we'll see. All right, thank you very much for listening. As always, do not try that at home. Don't put a key on a kite in a thunderstorm. Don't do that. That's dangerous. I just want to make sure no kids go, it's a good idea. Benjamin Franklin should get in trouble for doing that. Because it's bad influence on kids. I just punched my keyboard. I'm going to edit that out now. I've made loads of editing for myself in the last 10 minutes of this. Yeah.
That's good.
As if editing this doesn't take long enough already. All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll
thank you.
See you next time. Sorry to any Benjamin Franklin fans. Which, if I cut that bit out, that's not going to make any sense now. I might cut the bit about Benjamin Franklin out and leave that bit in. So people are going, what did he say about Benjamin Franklin? You know, like a mystery. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, see you guys next time.
Bye. For all we know, so there's going to be a card of the day tomorrow and we're going to look stupid.